There's a hidden advantage of homeschooling that no one really talks about. And once you see it, it's hard to unsee it. The real advantage? It's the random, deep, unexpected conversations you end up having with your kids. The kind that just don't happen when life feels rushed and scheduled. If you've been homeschooling for any period of time, you're probably aware of so many of the benefits of homeschooling and why it's so good for kids. They can learn at their own pace. It's great for them to spend so much time with their parents. The academics take much less time and there's more free time for you to enjoy as a family. But there's one advantage that you might have overlooked. I know I did for many years. We've been having so many up and down days. Some days it's just wonderful and beautiful to be outside and the kids are outside in their imaginary worlds all day. And then the next day it will be so cold. I think we woke up one morning and it was still 30 or 33 degrees. So, it's like you never know whether to put shorts on or to bundle the kids up. But this was a nice day and the kids were outside. They found a snake in our strawberry patch, which was a very exciting thing for them. We've also been seeing a lot of birds this time of year, and you can see them a lot better because the leaves aren't fully on the trees yet. And this has been really fun for some of our younger kids because I've been studying birds with them for the past 2 years, and now they're really able to identify them when they see them. So it's just been fun naming and talking about all the different varieties that we've seen right in our backyard. If you're on my channel for the first time, hi, I'm Sherry. I'm a Christian homeschooling mom married to my high school sweetheart. Together we have 10 children ages 21 down to 3. I love homeschooling and it's my passion to share that encouragement with other moms here on my YouTube channel and on the blog ourlifehomeschooling.com. Back to one of the hidden advantages of homeschooling. Allow me to just tell you a little story. I had been homeschooling for many years. It was probably 10 years, and I knew all the benefits to homeschooling. We had thought through this very, very much. It was a constant conversation in our home. By this point, we knew why we were doing it. The flexibility, we felt like it was an excellent education for our kids. But one day, this advantage really popped out to me in a way that I just had never seen it before. I was making lunch and the kids were all around me. It was early spring. We were enjoying lunch outside on the deck after a morning of schoolwork. All my littles were surrounding me and they were asking 1,000 questions. And if you've been there, you know it was one of those moments where I wanted to bury my head in the sand. If one more child asked me one more thing, it was one of those moments where you're just trying to be patient, but you're not doing the greatest job. And I was thinking in my head, can't they just stop talking for a few minutes so I can think? Maybe you've been there. It was in this moment that it kind of hit me that our kids can ask questions all day long. And they know that my mom, who loves me and cares for me more than anyone else, is going to answer my questions. When most people think about homeschooling, they think about flexibility, freedom, maybe better academics. And yes, those things are great. But one thing that I just don't hear many people talking about that I think makes the biggest difference is how much you talk to your kids. The conversations you're having all day long, not in a forced sit down and tell me what happened, what you learned today kind of way, but in a natural, ongoing, all day conversation. This is something that is unique to homeschooling. We all know that The best time to answer a child's questions is when they're asking them, when they're interested, because that's when they're really paying attention. So you are there for that moment. We are there as moms for that moment when they really want to know about something and we can answer it for them. It looks like talking over breakfast, or a random question that turns into a 20-minute rabbit trail, or pausing in the middle of the day because your child is curious about something. And instead of saying, we don't have time, you do have the time to follow it and talk about it. Some of the best conversations happen in those moments you never planned. If this kind of relationally focused approach to homeschooling sounds appealing to you, I'd love for you to check out my new course, Beyond School, the Home Education Breakthrough. This is a course for new and current homeschoolers where I teach ordinary parents how they can give their kids a better education at home. It just opened this week, and it's been so fun to see all the homeschooling families that are joining us. The course is 8 modules, 55 plus lessons, and tons of bonuses. It's on sale this week only until Saturday, April 11th for launch week. So you can get it at a discounted price of $169 or 3 payments of $57. After Saturday, April 11th at midnight, it will go up to its regular price where it will stay. The course is a family-first framework for education. It's not about doing school at home perfectly. It's about rethinking what education can look like, creating more connection in your home, and building something that truly works for your family. If you want to learn more about giving your kids this kind of an education, click on the link in the description box to watch my free masterclass. When you have time in your day to have conversations with your kids, that's where some of the deeper relational work happens. You begin to really understand how they think, what they're thinking about, what excites them, what confuses them. I can't tell you how many times in our day that because I was there, my kids opened up to me about something they were struggling with, or a question that was on their mind that was bothering them. And it was because I was available when it mattered to them most. So the opportunity for conversations with our kids has an advantage both academically and relationally. Just thinking about how much our kids learn from our conversations, they just ask more questions because I'm there. For example, we'll be outside and they'll say, hey, there's a bug on that leaf. What is it? Oh, it's a bee. Oh, what kind? Does it sting? What's it doing? What does a bee eat? Or when the sun is at noon right above our house in the summer, why is it there, but in the winter, it's over along the tree line? Why does the candle go out when I put the lid on it? How many days will it take for this letter to get from our house to our cousins in Florida? And how does it get there? Who takes it there? These are the kinds of questions my kids have asked me. Because of homeschooling, our kids are living life. They're not just preparing for life. They're here when we're paying the bills, planning our week, switching the laundry, decorating for the holidays. They go with us running errands at the bank or the grocery store, the post office, when the chimney guy comes or the oven repairman. The kids are here. And yes, they are curious. They have questions. They're also curious when I'm reading books to them and they have time to stop and ask them. In one of our more recent read-alouds, the dialogue ranged from understanding the meanings of words like landlubbers, mainsail, and more, to discussing phrases like chip off the old block. Little discussions like these are happening all day long because our kids are with us. They're learning right alongside with us. Every morning during morning time, one of the first things we do is watch World Watch News. We love it. And Each morning, it seems to start some kind of discussion about one of the topics in the show. It's great, and these are the kind of moments that you can have when you have time. When life is constantly rushed and scheduled, those conversations get squeezed out. You're left with check-ins where your kids give short answers and you may have to say, well, we'll just talk about it later. And that's okay. Sometimes there's a place for that, but sometimes that talk just doesn't really ever happen when you live a rushed and hurried life. And this even can happen for us as homeschoolers. We have the freedom to be home with our kids all day, but our schedules can easily fill up so quickly without us realizing it. And here we find ourselves running here and there nonstop with so many commitments. And it can push out the time that we need with our kids. So I know I have to constantly guard myself from that. This is something I talked about a little bit more in a video I did a couple weeks ago. Why choose a simple homeschool? Understanding the power of enough. It's all about leaving time and space in your day for what's really important. I'll link that for you so you can check it out. I think one thing that's really great when your kids feel free to talk with you openly like this, they have confidence to ask questions or express ideas without fear of being wrong. One benefit of spending more time and having more influence with your parents rather than your peers is that they don't learn that they're supposed to be self-conscious, or they learn it at a much later date. When they're in a group setting and people ask them questions, they usually just answer it because it just takes homeschooled kids a little longer to realize that they have something to be self-conscious about. And I think this comes in part from having your parents as the primary influence in your life. And, I've talked about the benefits of the conversations we as parents can have with our kids, but I haven't mentioned all the conversations that our kids are having among themselves. The relationships they're building between siblings are really precious. I've seen this with my kids. I love that they're so close. I love watching them grow up together and playing together. I hope these are some of their best memories. When I see them playing some game out in the yard that they made up themselves or inside playing a strategy game together, I just think, I am so glad they're not missing these moments. So here's something to think about. What kind of conversations do you want to be having with your kids? Not just someday, but right now in your everyday life. And do you actually have the space for them right now? Because those small, unplanned conversations end up being the ones that shape your relationship the most. Once you see this, you start to realize this is what learning can look like. And if you want help building that kind of atmosphere in your home, that's exactly what I guide you through inside Beyond School, the Home Education Breakthrough. Remember that the discounted launch price ends April 11th at midnight. Check out the link in the comments to learn more. Thanks for watching. I do one video a week on homeschooling encouragement for everyday moms. I'll see you next week.